I'm Mark Silver. I'm a photographer and author in Carmel, California. Now, our guest again is the one and only premier headshot and portrait photographer in New York City, Peter Hurley. All right, let's talk about your use of Hurleyisms as a tool, right? So, how do you use them? What is a Hurleyism, first of all? You might as well start there. Let's define that.
I didn't define that. I was just minding my own business, but I started teaching this workshop called the Headshot Intensive, and I did my first one, and my big reveal to the world was teaching people this concept. Now it's out there, and I told everybody, and people make up their own, and they do their thing. And you can go to hurleyisms.com and see what they are. The thing that I found is there's a couple things, is that as humans, we can do subtle multitasking, but what happens when you get in front of a camera, it's so powerful that your brain is fixated on it. So when a photographer gives directions to their subject, they don't usually go through their brain just fixated on the camera. So it doesn't really help. So it gets frustrating and you don't know what to do, especially if somebody's that fearful of having their picture captured, because that seems to do it to people. So what you try and do is you have to one-up the camera. So this is what I figured out.
Can you try one on? Can you try one on me? I mean, let's say I'm coming in and I'm like deer in the headlights and nervous and.
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, I would set you up. So you have to lay it on the person at the right set. Like if you're not in the right position for me to shoot, it doesn't help me.
All right.
So it's a timing thing. So this thing called the Hurley Headshot System, which I go through a series of things. I work from the ground up. So I would place you in my lighting based on your feet, based on the light that's furthest from me. And then once you're there, then I start to manipulate your body. So turn slightly to your left. Slightly to your left. No, your body. Body slightly left, please. There you go. Now work your nostrils back to the right a little bit. Yeah, there you go. And now jam your forehead out. Jam your forehead out a little bit. Chin down. Perfect. Now tilt your head slightly towards the Empire State Building for me.
There you go.
And now I'm shooting.
Boom. So I'm having to think where the F is the Empire State
coming. And
really,
then I wait
that was a
to
good
see
one.
that. And now you're laughing. And now when you come back to rest, you're not thinking about the camera, and I get the best serious stuff too. So that's a simple directional one that I use every day.
That's a good one.
And you can.
And I didn't see it coming.
Anywhere.
You're right.
You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. You can try this. Bring your forehead out, and then go. Do forehead up and chin down for me. So forehead up and chin down.
Is that down enough?
Forehead up, up, and then chin down. Yeah, but chin down. No, forehead up and then chin down. You're gonna have to open your mouth to do it.
It's so impossible. Forehead up, chin down.
But
no, that's really good.
It means absolutely nothing. But I've got you in my position. So I've got all this backlog in my head of what I'm trying to do and get out of you and see what you could do, and then see that you are. What I'm doing is I'm taking this session, I'm dumbing it down, and I'm taking the power away from the cameras. Now the camera scene's insignificant because you're just like, this guy's nuts. What's he going to say next? You know?
No, that's so awesome. Because basically you're just what you caused me to do right there, even though I don't really pay much attention to my camera. I completely forgot about it. I was listening to you. That's it. I'm just listening to you.
I realized how important this was when I was working with the photographers I was working with. I had a different response to each one, dependent upon how I felt. And that would give me a different look in the camera. So I just had my picture taken. I did the mustache, which I've never done. So this is really strange for me to have this thing on my face.
It's pretty wild.
But one of my friends who I love, who was an amazing portrait photographer, John Keatley, saw me on Instagram or something. He's like, you didn't shave it, did you? I was like, no. He goes, I want to take a picture through FaceTime. He's doing these amazing FaceTime portraits. It was such a cool experience to be directed by somebody who really knows what they're doing and really is in tune with their art, and that is dependent upon the photographer. And when the photographer wasn't like that, I would fall off a ledge with the modeling. I remember at the end of my career, I was just like, I just can't do this unless somebody's, giving me something.
You said something that I don't want to just zoom by, which is you're the director. And this is a really important point because a photographer could take a back seat and think the subject is going to give them whatever they want rather than like a film director. You're telling them how you want them to look, where you want them to stand. You're setting up the lights, you're setting up the camera, and you're in control of the whole thing, which is really being an active photographer, not a passive photographer.
Absolutely.
Super important.
So it's a huge thing. It's what I coach. It's why I teach all these people on the headshot crew. I'm like, look, you don't have to do it like me either. I mean, I think I coach people the way I do it because that's the only way I know how to do it. But what I'm trying to get them to do is go, oh, I get the concept. Let me figure it out my own way, which is just get people outside of their, getting their attention off the camera. I've always told photographers that they have to, have to get this ass. If you want to be a portrait photographer, some people are so petrified to direct people and it just scares, they hit the terror barrier right away. If you want to be a portrait photographer, then you've got to do this. And if you don't, then go shoot some rocks,
And sooner or later, though, I contend that sooner or later we're all going to shoot portraits and we should be prepared for it. It's going to happen. Even if it's just your family and friends, you're going to take a portrait. So you ought to know the skills of it. It's really important.
Yeah, I see some of the chat, and Ugo is asking me, he's one of my buddies in the Netherlands, and he's asking me to tell you which side is your side. And we tried to flush that out last time.
What do you think?
So, well, you're always wearing the hat. How the heck am I supposed to know?
I can't take it off. I haven't had a hair. I look like a homeless person when I take it off. All right,
go. No, I think you're a. I think you're a righty. Go back the other way. Don't go that way. Yeah, that's better. I think that's better.
So my right side is better. This side.
Right. Is that your right? Are we?
This is my left. Sorry. I'm looking at the.
Let me see. Go nose this way. Go nose the other way. Keep going that way. That way. No, stop. Will you just go one way or the other?
Okay, there we go.
Stay there. Now do the opposite. Look toward your left. Stay there. That's the side. I think.
This is my right side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You're right.
I can see that. I'm a righty.
Slightly strong.
I'm left-handed really and a right-faced.
Where have you parted your hair most of your life?
My hair goes from this side to this side.
Really?
So yeah.
So there's a hair part theory.
I know.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I like that side better actually as well. Okay. And that's something you try to, obviously you do that with all your models, your subjects, you're going to just have them move until you see which one looks better.
You have to, and that's part of the artistry of you as an artist. I mean, if you if you shoot somebody's bad side, it can't. I mean, I don't go into a shoot and go, all right, I'm not going to pull out all the stops on this one. I don't need to find their best side. What do I need to do that for? Like I go in, I think every time a photographer, if they're really worth their salt, they're trying to take the best image that they can at every moment that shutter presses.
Absolutely.
So I got to get their good side. I mean, I have no choice. It's not even a question.
And that's true with any type of photography. If you were doing architectural photography and you left a funky car in the frame in front of the house, that's a bad photograph. You move the car, you get it out of the way, right? Yeah. And make the house look as good as possible. In this case, the person. It's just being responsible for everything in the frame, which is.
That's interesting. I like the way you put that because that's amazing. Somebody said they were shooting some architecture. They were shooting a house during the pandemic, and some of these people were moving out, but they were the renters, but the people were trying to sell it, and all their crap was everybody. And they went in to shoot it, and they're like, Do I take this picture or do I make the people clean it up? Do I have to move stuff around? Like, that's a terrible thing to have to do.
As a photographer, again, as a director, if there's a plant in the frame coming out of the back of the guy's head, you either move them or you move the plant. You don't leave these things coming out of the back of the guy's head. It looks weird.
Just to finish that point, when you're a headshot photographer shooting on a white background or a blank background, you only have their face, so you got to move it. It's like...
Absolutely. Thank you once again for your generosity and sharing with us your secrets.
Thanks, Mark. I really enjoy talking to you every time I'm on. So anytime.
Same here. We'll catch up again real soon. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe and enable the bell so you don't miss any episodes. Like it. Leave your comments. I love you guys. Stay safe. Stay well. And remember to get out and capture your own images of life.